Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's daily live that almost did not happen. I I have been maneuvering through this day as probably like many of you. It's been a day. Um, and I was gonna just skip the daily tune in because we are in a lot of transition in this place and have to move out of this place to a place that we can't find. We don't have. We got to be out of tomorrow and don't have a place anywhere to go. Simply because we just can't find anything that's available and or that will take our dog. So it's been a little bit stressful. We've been packing up. Um, our plan is not going as it should, as we would like it to, and yet we are in. When I say we, my husband and I, and our dog Priya, who's sitting at my feet. We're all in this process together of integration, and when I kind of back out of the issues, that is showing up in the physical world, I know that this is a part of the energetic world that is integrating, coming into place. Our physical world right now are organizing into matter, into the miracles, into the physical manifestation of all of that work that we have done in this last year, in these last 40 days, in our journey of this ascension journey. So there's been this push and pull of like a little bit of imbalance today in being in the low periods, the descension part of being in the frustration and the discomfort for myself of not knowing, what comes next. And then there's the ascension part of remembering what this is about. On top of that, if you were here yesterday, we celebrated my husband's birthday. And today is my son's birthday. He's turning 16 today. And I'm going to just share a little bit vulnerably with you so that you know that I'm in this process with you and walking the journey of remembering what this journey is about, and at the same time living it in my own life. And it is still uncomfortable. So my son, we grew up, talking about traveling and showing him the world and, doing all of the things. And it finally came down to, not being the right time, but when is it ever the right time to disrupt your life last year? But we decided that we were going to go for the big dream and travel to find the next place that we called home. And we were going to do that as a family. And we started the process. And during the process, throughout this last year and a half, in different times, both of my boys decided that they didn't want to do that anymore. And they wanted to be in the comfort of the world that they knew. And at that point, it was too late for us to stop. We had gotten rid of our house and all of our things and belongings. And, my husband and I were at a crossing point of, what do we do now? And what I knew in my soul and what I knew energetically was that if we stopped and said, okay, we're going to make you happy and we're going to stay here, it was controlling every aspect of our lives and putting us back into a zone where we knew we were growing out of. It was also controlling the journey of my kids, because if we just kept us all in a comfort zone in which we knew, none of us would grow. And we had to make a really tough decision. We had to sit with, are we willing to keep going on this journey, leaving them in their comfort zone in the moment and creating this geographical space in order for us to keep growing and for them to keep growing, that their souls were led to grow. We allowed them to choose for themselves. And many people will say, well, that's an adult decision. And yet, when do we teach our kids to make a choice? When do we teach our kids how to step into the power of themselves, make a choice, and if it isn't the right choice, to help them redirect their choice, or if it is in their best and highest good, then the choice that extends their confidence in themselves. And that's what I want for my kids. No matter what the choice was for them, it was going to lead to growth. And that is what I chose. And we have all grown because of this. And yet, in this moment, as I sit through this day in my own discomfort about what comes next for my, husband and I sit in the discomfort for the first year in my life, not being with my son on a really special birthday. It's a hard day. And at the same time, when I sit back and I took it easy today, I wanted to cancel this. I wanted to not show up. But at the end of the day, I'm showing up to be here with you, because if I didn't show up on the hard days and sit with, I've sat with it, but I know this is in the highest and best good for all of us, but I can't see what it looks like. So I decided to show up here and be with you all, because I know it's not an easy journey, and I know it throws curveballs at you, because I have had the curveballs, and I've had the deep grief and the pain, and as we've purged the old paradigms and the old worlds and the old lives that we had, and we look back and we're like, oh, there was some really good juicy stuff in there, but there was a lot of stuff that just was painful on the daily, on the day to day. And we decided to just go for the big one, to go for this journey, to somehow realign ourselves on our soul's journey, and know in the bottoms of our hearts that when we finally acclimate and calibrate to that higher frequency of manifestation, that my boys will be there. And we are in that midsection. There's a book, I can't remember who wrote it. I'm sorry. But you can look it up if but it's a book. It's when one door closes and the other opens, but it's hell in the hallway. I'm not doing it justice, but it's that whole idea of like, when, one door has closed for us, the others haven't opened, and we are all, me, my husband, you all are in that midsection. You're in that hell in the hallway part where we don't exactly know where we're going. We're feeling our way forward in the darkness, and little by little we get shots of light that reveal the next step in front of us, so we get a little bit closer to that doorway opening. But in that unknown and in that dark hallway, it's really uncomfortable. So I wanted to, first of all, I want to just, if you could just join me and we could just send so much love and hugs to my son and wish him the best and happiest journey, and allow his light to come on so he can see what his mama is doing, and help me just wrap him in light so he can see that I did not leave him, and that I'm going on this journey for him and for me, so that we can meet again in a lifetime and in a place that is supportive of everything we have ever talked about in our entire lives together. I send him so much love. I've been doing it all day long and wrapped in this circle with you guys. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your souls coming in here to help me just beam light to that boy who I adore, you all. I adore him and I love him and I want him to feel me. And with your help, I know he can. So thank you for letting me have that moment. I wasn't expecting that, but us moms, we have a lot of love, and sometimes it boils up and it leaks out our eyes a little bit at how much we love ourselves, and not ourselves, love our I love myself too, but not like that. I don't usually make myself cry with how much I love myself, but I cry a lot with how much I love my kids. So thank you for that. Now, definitely a difficult path. It is hell in the hallway, Carly. It's hell in the hallway. But I'm here and I'm with you guys, and I want to just check in with you. Where are you all at? What are you having questions on? I know I did have a question on Instagram about how long is this integration phase. And I invited her on here. I invited her to kind of take a look at some of the past daily tune-ins. One of the things that is really kind of frustrating, but is also, it is what it is that this process, this integration process, is unique to all of us. So we can put a timeline on of two weeks ish to really integrate these that great purge. The oh, I had an alliteration yesterday that was so good. The purging process, the most potent purging process, that or something like that, that we have been through energetically in, I mean, yet was those last 30 days that we were talking about throughout these daily tune-ins. So those the a really massive purge. And if you think of all the different ways of perception that purge took place, it took place energetically within us. It took place within energetically within all of our systems, within anything with a consciousness. Okay, so if you think of organizations, they have a consciousness, right? The collective consciousness that runs and manages each organization also went through that massive integrative purging process. Government systems went through that consciousness in and of itself. It has a collective consciousness of people that run them in all aspects. That was a purging process. If you take a look at the health systems, if you look at like our ecosystem, like all the things that have a consciousness went through a massive purge in that 40-day time span energetically. The earth had a massive energetic 40-day purge. So you can imagine that all of that being integrated um, is going to integrate it at the level of consciousness that that organization or organism is. So for us, we've been kind of given this time frame of 2 weeks, where our the purging happened, and our energetic systems, or the 12 powers, patterns of perfection, are all coming online. That's all happening. So as we watch this then come into manifestation in our physical life, that's going to be a process as well. But this integration phase should take about 2 weeks before then we start to see it manifesting in our lives. That said, the purging process for organisms or organizations, people who are in resistance to change, and they hang on to things, and they want to hang on to all that was purged energetically, that integration is going longer, because there's that resistance that we talked about, I think, on Monday. That resistance is what we have got to just let go of. That resistance is, in my examples I've shared with you today, all day I've had to let go of the resistance of wanting to resist what is. I wanted to just be in the manifestation of where it's all glorious and the answers are there. But we've got to integrate into that. So the integration process is part of this surrender, is part of the being with what is. So the more that we can observe ourselves being in resistance and hanging on to things, and just remembering to just let go, just jump off that cliff. In the ascension bank we talked about last week, jumping off the cliff in full surrender and full faith. We raised our courage and our wealth codes around that. This is where we practice it. This is what that's all about. So these conversations that we have, in the ascension bank, are now coming to life in the physical, where, oh, this is where we have to jump off the cliff, surrender to everything that could be falling away, everything that's really comfortable, and allowing it just to be. That's how this works. We've been through the energetic purging. Now we're going through the physical purging. We're purging this place that we've actually really loved, except for the internet. So we don't know where we're going, but I've got to surrender that and know that this is in our highest and best good, and we are moving into a place physically and energetically and emotionally that rises us up in more light, in more perspective, so we can see more and understand more. Okay, it's step by step. Thank you, Trish, for loving, supportive hug coming your way. I feel it. I can use it. Thank you. Trish, I feel like everyone I bump into is so negative, rude, and victim mentality and are trying their best to pull me down with them. Yes. Um, that is, that's an interesting one, because there's like two things that are happening. The first thing is that yes, every single person, every single human being is going through this process. So you can imagine if they don't know what's happening, but their world is collapsing within, and now it's starting to collapse without, outside of them, and they're now projecting what's collapsing on the inside. Collapsing meaning just purging, and now it's happening in their physical life. We have been taught that that is, scary, and you got to hang on. People have claw marks in their lives to hang to it. So that, as that's happening, they are projecting that fear and projecting that anger and projecting that scarcity onto others. The other thing too is our own egos are also rising up in its own fear, because quite frankly it is still integrating the fact that it has been purged. And a lot of the hypno meditations that we've done this month in the Ascension Bank, a lot of them have included purging our subconscious mind of all files that are outdated, of old paradigms, beliefs, thought patterns that have purged from our systems. And this is how it works. Then once we purge, we've got to live through the ego, which is led by the subconscious mind, which is based on everything we've already been through. The subconscious mind is a recording of everything we've already lived. And so as we purge out and say, we don't need all of that anymore, thanks, but we don't need, it's like cleaning out the files in your computer. Oh, that one where I knew I've always operated as in the operating system, and the belief that I'm not worthy enough, I've purged that. Oh, all this stuff too that I got, from an abusive relationship and believed about myself, I've purged that. Now the subconscious mind is sending these messages to the ego. There's no files there for the ego to pull from, and it's like, oh my god, so it's like throwing everything. So you do have darkness within you that's also making could be making you feel like a victim a little bit, and that's being projected, which is why you're seeing it more in the world. So there's two things happening, and yet this is the surrender part. You just sit back when you see a reflection of somebody projecting back to you victim mentality or being rude, and we're around it too. My husband and I walk around here and we're like, God, everybody's so rude. No, like it's crazy what I'm seeing as well. And yet when I remember to step back and say, wait a minute, this is a reflection of me, and also the compassion, having the compassion towards that person who is also going through some crap, but turning that compassion on ourselves, because there's some part of us that's being reflected and projected out. So it's also the consciousness is within us that we're seeing. So what part of me, and it doesn't have to take, oh, I'm going to sit down and unpack this, figure out what it is so that I can remove it. It's just, oh wait, there's some part of me that needs some compassion right now. This is the surrender piece. This is walking through the portal, Trish. But between our conversation, from last week's conversations, walk through the portal or jump off the cliff. That is where we jump and walk through the portal and say, I'm not gonna battle that. I'm just gonna release it, allow it to go, and know that I'm gonna step through into a higher dimensional reality where I have more compassion and more empathy for others. It's not a test that God gives us, it's not that old religious stuff. This is a test that our ego gives us to be like, can you really handle life without me calling the shots? Can you really handle that? And that's when our higher self says, oh yes, you quiet down. You can go to, you can submit. We're going to just stand here and be in our full surrender and know that this and everything I'm seeing in the world and projected it at me is really within me. We're going to heal that in this moment. Moving on, and then we just keep on going. That's been my day all day, all day. Well, I woke up feeling heavy and I was like, here we go. The heaviness, wins a little bit, and then the soul comes in and says, no, 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 that's not what we're doing. That's not how we do it anymore. Okay, and then I feel good, and we pack up a box and we get ready and we laugh about how we have no freaking clue where these boxes are going. And then all of a sudden this comes in. It's like, but you don't know where you're going. Like, you got to be in fear. We got to be worried about this. And what the heck? And then this comes in and says, no, 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 no. This isn't us good. This is how we fully surrender. This is how we trust now. This is the new operating system. So this is constantly going on. Carly says, didn't expect to have to integrate. Taking me by surprise, feeling fear again. Drat. Yeah, thought it would be light and fluffy. Thank you for the idea of resistance. Yeah, Carly, it will be. It will be light and fluffy to the extent to how willing we are to let go of that resistance. Right. This is the that final energetic purge. Here's the final energetic purge happened. Okay, so we kind of got through the feelings of all that, but now we watch it unfold in our physical realities, right? Now we watch it unfold in the physical reality because that's how it works. It comes through as an idea in divine mind. Divine mind said we need the collective to purge the hell out of some hell within them so that we can move on with this global thing, and we can move on with it and move into a higher existence of global reality. Therefore, I'm going to send some light, and I'm going to send some love. And we've had solar flashes. We've had galactic flashes of energies in those 40 days that purged us energetically. So our energetic selves got a good old showering. And now what happened, the physical reality is the last thing to reflect all of that. So now we watch all of the purging that was done energetically show up in our physical world. The integration phase is when we integrate the energies of that, the higher mind idea, the higher soul idea that cleansed our energetic fields to make space in our physical worlds for that 5D, for that higher reality to come forth. But first, we've got to make way and purge the physical reality. I've got to purge this place, apparently, that I like and I kind of want to hang on to, because there's another place that's even more spectacular, has better internet, and will not be all glitchy and glaggy when we do these. Therefore, I have got to let go of this place and surrender it. That's the scariest part for us in most cases, because as humans, we have been really conditioned that our physical world is the only world. So as long as we stay connected to the spiritual world is actually our world, the physical world won't have as much hold on us. So as things purge, people purge out of your life, as people fall away, as jobs, relationships, houses, whatever it is starts to fall away because it has to be purged to make room for the upgrade. That's the integration that we're going to be living through in these next couple of weeks and into 2022. And I also talked about moving into 2022 is going to be kind of like a whiplash. Like all of a sudden we're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And yet that's when we have to practice that surrender. Trish media. I had to spend much time alone in stillness. Yeah, I am too, actually, Nicole. I really am. I've been doing a lot of journaling, just journaling out a lot of my fears, trying to understand the fears and all of the talking that's come up from my ego. And it feels a lot different than how it did years ago when I would journal. Like now it's just like, oh, this. And I get immediately when I identify something that's an untruth that is coming up from my ego, almost immediately now the light is there. The knowledge has been given, is being activated, has already been, and also continuing to be activated in our, cellular DNA. The light is there. So as these activations of our 12 powers come online, and our DNA then also comes, wakes up. Our fifth dimensional DNA is continuing to wake up, attach into its resonant chakra. There's a lot that's lighting up, lighting up. When we light up within, that releases new light, new knowledge, new wisdom. So as these things come up that are purged, we will immediately get the wisdom of what it really is from a soul level, so that this can then go away faster. So the faster we can work through this process of like, oh, here's this yucky thing, and the light, we search for the light, we ask for it. What is the opposite expression of this? What does this truly really mean from our soul level? This then eats away. It's kind of like Pac-Man, we've got this beautiful light that's coming on, shines a light on, the untruths of the ego, and it's like, okay, that one's done. Now we've purged that, and we keep moving on. So it's this constant, it's integration is a constant cycle until it's fully cleared, and it will clear. It will clear. I do know that. I hope it clears really fast. So I'm just getting after it. I'm just like, oh, this again. Okay, let's do it. Let's go, let's battle, and let's get into it, because I just want to get through it. And also trying to do it so that we can be with what is as well, and being patient with ourselves. If we can't just get through something, spend time with it, be in stillness, and be like, man, feel that, grief. I felt some grief this morning about, not being with my son. Finally moved through that, finally moved through it. But then when I got on here and started talking to you all, I thought I was okay with it. There was another little wave that had to be processed and integrated. It's how it works. Scarcity, my Achilles heel coming up big right now. Yep. Working through that, working through another layer of it, right, Carly? It's the cycle, whatever it was that was within us is having to, have its way with us, and just sit with it, and just know in every moment, it just is a moment to spend with it, because it's not real. It's not the truth of who you are. We are abundant. We are wealthy. It is up to us to just keep burning away every thought and every belief of scarcity and lack and all of it. Yes. Okay. Yes. The light is here. It really is. It is. It's already, we keep seeing it all over. The light's already won. Energetically, yes. We have to allow the dark to play out energetically within us, and then in our physical reality. So we will take some of, not that we're taking it in. We have to allow it to play out, just knowing that at the end of the day, and that's what I do with my, with my children. I just think like, okay, the light is already won. That means for me in my reality that the higher existence of our family is already in place. I do know that. And I'm just rising up to meet it. And when I meet it, they're there in their higher light, and they understand more, and they get what this process is about. And it's just clearing all the gunk in between there of all of the fears that I have as a mom, that they don't get it, or they think I've abandoned them, or like all the things. And there's a lot within that that I do to take care of them feeling that. But at the same time, how somebody takes something, how someone subconsciously understands something is in their own journey. So therefore we are having our own journeys with relationships, not knowing how the other person is taking it, because they're on their own individual journey. So yeah, so we are clearing everything quickly. We're clearing it fast. I am going to wrap up, but I also want to invite you all to the wealth code conversations that will be happening in the Ascension Bank here in a little bit. These are shift a little bit. I'm feeling really called to have these group sessions kind of like this, but we're going to go even deeper. We're going to go into a specific topic, and everyone the Zoom will be able to converse in the conversation. It's not just me, talking. And I have invited a beautiful colleague and friend to join us, who has an extremely high level perspective of the world energetically. And she's been my mentor, a colleague of mine for a long time. And I'm trying to persuade her to come in and really be a part of these wealth code conversations. And at the end of the conversations, what comes up to be released, what comes up to be anchored in, will be anchored in. By myself, I will, bring us through a process, a beautiful process to bring our conversation to a close, to anchor in everything that we have talked about. And they're growing into something rather beautiful. So I hope that you see what they are, that you feel it. It's this kind of conversation, but growing into something much deeper and more potent. I can feel it being pulled out into something quite sweet and quite beautiful. So I invite you into the Ascension Bank. There's a lot of stuff in there, y'all. It's $22 a month. If it's free, there's no value. It's $22 a month, and I guarantee you there's a shit ton more value in there than $22. There are hypno meditations that they're gonna help your journey, support your journey. They're gonna rock your world energetically as we move energy around. There's a med bed hypno meditation in there. There's a wormhole, like how to quicken up the process. There's a lot of good stuff. There's about to be a mental wealth bank workshop that I'm going to release in there. So lots of really, really good stuff. I'm putting everything in there that I know to offer professionally, and I'm bringing my heart and soul in there. And I bring my heart and soul to these, and they're free. So if you could just imagine what you might get if I ask for a little bit of an investment, you're going to get a shit ton more than that. So that's my humble, call to action to invite you into the Ascension Bank. So if you're not there, come on by, check us out. And I hope to see you there. See you. For the rest of you, I know, hopefully I'll see you guys there on the Wealth Code conversation tonight, or my tonight. You're in a little bit to this morning. Okay. Thanks all for holding me in that space for my son. I really, really appreciate it. So love to you all. Bye.